Festival. So
Yes.
that's your motion. Do I have a second?
I would move that we move comments from the public after approval of the minutes.
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion? All right, all in favor of having public comments after approval of minutes signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Does anyone else have anything to add to the agenda?
If old business, Commissioner Jeff Carter's motion / or dash events contractor Tracy Johnson, we approved at our last meeting, she'd be on payroll until January 31st, so I'm assuming we have to resolve this issue at today's meeting.
And we'll address that.
And that will be under number 2 of old business.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
And I believe what we agreed to do was to pay her through the end of January at her regular contractor's fee.
Correct, which is like 4 days from now.
Correct.
All right.
Ms. Green?
Are the Fat Tire people here?
I beg your pardon?
You could be. Okay. I was just going to move that to first of new business in case you wanted to go home.
Oh, first of new business?
Yeah,
We can do that?
Yeah, we could do that.
So we'll move that from 4 to 1?
Yeah.
Got it.
And we might as well discuss it. I thought someone from Parks was going to be here. I just didn't want him to have to spend all night here.
Okay, so approval of minutes. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve.
A second?
I'll second it.
I have a correction I'd like to make, or an addition. This would appear in the minutes under staff reports, page 1, and after the last sentence on the page. I would like to add, as a point of information, these emails and letters were solicited at the request of CAPC staff and/or contractors.
Where are the minutes?
And I've got that written out if somebody needs it. This would be the first page. It'll be the first page of the minutes, staff reports. The last part reads, for the balcony music series, I would just like to add the sentence, these emails and letters were solicited at the request of CAPC staff and/or contractors, just for clarification. Any discussion, any further discussion? All in favor of approving the minutes with the addition, please say aye.
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 I abstained. I wasn't here for that.
Okay, and any opposed? Great, thank you. All right, so as requested, we will have public comments in just a moment. Would anyone at the commission like to say anything before these public comments are done?
Well, we need to restrict public comments to 3 minutes.
3 minutes, all right.
Harry, you got a timer on your,
On my phone.
yeah.
Can you do that for us?
Who wants to be, you going to be the timekeeper, Harry?
Why, sure.
Great, and as you come from public comments, if you could give your name, if you're associated with a business or otherwise, that would be great. And you will be limited to 3 minutes. Thank you.
I'd like name and address, please.
Name and address also?
Yes.
Okay.
That was fast.
Okay. Public comment is open. Who would like to speak?
All right.
I'll go first to loosen up the crowd. My name is Bo Satori. I've had Satori Art since 1977. There's way too many issues for me to go through in my 3 minutes of free speech. And I'm sure there's a lot of people who want to speak on behalf of Tracy and the special events issue. I have other issues. One of my main concerns was we didn't have any special events, and so are we going to have them this year? We'll be lucky to have anything in fall. Luckily, she got us through Folk Festival, and that may be all we have this year is Folk Festival and Christmas. I think the main issue here is Chairman Wright. Looking back through a lot of episodes over the past year or more, she's created a adversarial relationship with the staff. I think as chairman, she's out of control with what the commission likes. She acts outside of her role, and I think I would like for you to not nominate her for chairman again. And I would respectfully ask Chairman Wright to resign, and I think that that would be in the best interest of the city and in this commission. Going back through the minutes, and I have the minutes back to 72, one thing that's quite obvious at this point is in the minutes of irregular meetings, there's nothing happening. It's just very brief, you get through it, because all the discussions and all the debate are being in your workshops, which are held off camera. Now, you started recording them, but trying to follow an audio recording of a meeting and a discussion debate just doesn't work. So all of your workshops should be held on camera as well as your regular meetings, and then we could actually see what's going on with the commission and with over $1.2 million. You're debating over special events with nothing happening in the city and everything being closed. How do you go through $500,000 in advertising? Who are we bringing here? Why are we trying to get everyone here? We're on lockdown practically. Our regular customers are coming to us, and we're very thankful for them, but I don't know that we need to be doing $500,000 worth of advertising with a Florida ad agency while we're in this predicament. Third issue is I keep coming back and forth for the last 20 years about the holiday promotions and holiday decorations, mainly Christmas. Back in '99, I think Bobby and I picked out 56 new pole sculptures of snowflakes and shooting stars to go with the wreaths. Well, they're all gone. They're all a mess now, and nothing's been done. We collapsed our Christmas decorations in '07, and promotion is every bit as important as advertising, and we're not doing anything to do promotion. And for years I've been hearing, oh, we got a 5-year plan, we got a 5-year plan. You're not spending any money on it, you're not planning anything, and this needs to change. You pushed it over in the Parks Department. Parks Department is spending $10,000 out of their budget for the hours to put up the decorations. You need to buy new decorations, and you need to pay parks. Thank you.
Bo.
Thanks, Bo.
Who would like to speak
Thanks,
next,
Bo.
please?
Hello. Oop, sorry. I'm Autumn Slane. I think where I'm
Could you
coming...
state your address? Are you a resident, out of town, visitor? Do you have a business here?
Autumn
She's the city
Slane,
council member.
104 J
That's for
Lane.
everybody
I'm a
else.
resident, business owner. For that reason, I think all of us, what we're wanting to know is transparency, and for our residents and business owners. We have concerns with the budget. Like Bo said, where is it going? I got a few emails today of people that couldn't be here tonight. So I kind of want to just point out some of the things that they spoke about just on their behalf. They spoke about not advertising for Eureka Springs lights for Christmas, or at least missing the opportunity to point people in a direction there. They are concerned about other cities doing outdoor events and creating an outdoor venue, making things, changing it up, basically pivoting, making sure that we're doing what we can here. Some of the other things that they mentioned is the mission statement for the actual CAPC and if we're following it. They even wrote about, let me get back here. Honestly, it's just a complete breakdown of trust. That's where we're at. I hope for more transparency. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderwoman Slane. Next person.
Brian Wyman, 726 Lazy L Lane, Eureka Springs, Arkansas. And a couple of you up there know me, Benny Keith rep, and deal with you on a day-to-day. I think Autumn said it, transparency, events. I know that with COVID, everything is completely different, and we're having to do things different. I'm very disturbed at the fact that we did not pay her for January as a person of this town. That's just a public, serious issue that I've had a lot of people talk to me about, and I don't want a negative light on our town. We had a really great year last year, and I think we can all agree during these times. We can readjust events in a different way, and we need that position, in my opinion. And you didn't control the clock very well in the last one, so we'll start over. But just because we've done something always doesn't mean we can't do events differently, safe. And I do believe that she has, I'm just here for Tracy. I think that she tries, she's passionate, and I don't agree with her on everything. I disagreed with her on quite a few things last year, but I've had some serious talks, and I just want to know what is going on. We collect a lot of money, we work hard, and I don't feel like we know what's going on, and I want to know. That's my piece.
Great, thank you. Next speaker.
Yeah, Mike Seals at 138 Spring Street, and I'm chairman of the Chamber of Commerce. And I just wanted to share with the commission that, we were blessed, as some have said, with a much better year in 2020 than what we could have expected under the conditions. But I also want to highlight that many of the tax collectors in the community did have a down year, did have a tough year, probably more so on the highway, maybe than in the downtown area. The highway businesses are much more dependent upon events and festivals and parades. And so from a Chamber of Commerce perspective, we have embraced the idea of only cancel something as a last resort. Look for a variation or a creative way to do something along the same lines in a way that meets the requirements and restrictions, such as we did Antique Auto 49.5 instead of the 50th celebration, and we also did the stationary Christmas parade instead of just canceling the normal Christmas parade. It's vital to our businesses that we get creative, and I think we've done that, but we need to have the mindset. Don't cancel, come up with a creative alternative to events, parades, and festivals. We were able to host Westmont Hospitality on Monday night. They're a hotel operator that operates all kinds of hotels all over the nation and the world. They're interested in Eureka Springs. They're interested in the possibility of purchasing land and building something, but they're also more interested in the possibility of buying some of the existing properties that need to be upgraded. And as a community, business community, we desperately need that process to continue, but they're not going to invest their money in our community unless the numbers justify it. So for 2021 and beyond, let's be creative and come up with variations and continue to build the business going forward. So that's my comment. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Next speaker.
Good evening. I'm Lori Smoley. I reside at 17 Pivot Rock Road, number 2. I am also an alderman. What I want to talk about is something else again. What's really been disturbing me the last few days in particular is the airing of laundry on social media from various staff and CAPC members. I've also been getting some mail in my inbox, which I'm kind of, part of me is wondering, like, why is this my business? It concerns employees, and it's not my business to know what you're discussing. And that seems to be a manifestation of the problems we're having between the people who believe that by promoting business, it benefits the citizens, and the citizens who feel that by promoting business, it's endangering their health and the health of the public and possibly, the health of the visitors, and extends on down. We do need to promote our events creatively, but there is an impression that we're trying to bring in groups, and that we brought in groups, not illegally, but groups that violated state standards, and the efforts aren't there to maintain those. And the citizens I hear from are the ones who are concerned that, these are people bringing in COVID in some cases, and it spreads then through the local community. They would like to see, some happy medium of people talking to each other and coming up with these alternative plans and other things we can do that still maintain some safetiness and protect our community. Another citizen benefit, or another thing that I see talking to some of these folks, is they're asking, why is CAPC here and how does it benefit me? And other than it helps promote jobs, but most of these jobs are minimum wage or slightly over, or they're jobs that you have to, wait staffing jobs and busing and things where you're dependent on tips. They don't see the CAPC producing year-round, good wage, livable wage jobs. So people need to start talking to each other, and there needs to come we can't let this versus business versus citizen grow. It's got to stop, and we've got to start talking before it becomes two opposition groups that just aren't going to talk to each other, and then nothing happens. And then everybody else gets to see the non-cooperation, the vitriol, and there aren't the events, there aren't things happening to encourage people to keep coming and then return in numbers. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Smoley. Next speaker, please.
Hi, my name is Shyla Molina. I live on 2 Vaughn Street. I've been in Eureka Springs for almost 5 years, about 4.5 years. I moved to, basically I was in between Beaver and Bush, living at the farm for a while. I organized a couple of cleanups of Highway 187. We were sponsored by local businesses, and we ended up cleaning up at least 6,000 pounds worth of trash off of the rural highway. And I love this town. Came here organically, and one of the things, being on the outskirts of town for a couple of years, that brought me into town was the special events. Now I know that looks a little bit different, and it has looked a little bit different in 2020, and I think everybody that supports Tracy and supports the special events agrees that we need to continue to think of creative ways to have these special events. But Tracy definitely did that. She was able to, I'm also a musician, a single mom, and I survive off of my music and special events in Eureka. I'm also an event planner and a stage designer, so I do a lot of things that involve special events, especially in this town. And I am so grateful that she was able to recalibrate the music in town and make it safe for not only the musicians to be away from the crowd for the overhead music series, but tourists could, be walking through and hear the music from almost any street that they would be walking on. And one thing that I noticed as a parent and as an out-of-towner for a while was that you go downtown to hear some music, or the stationary parade was amazing. But your kids, I want ice cream, or, you want to go get something to eat, or I want to go to the magic shop. So the things that brought people into town are really important, because this is an Airbnb destination as it is. The people are coming, they're renting the cabins and the houses, they're coming anyway, so if they're here, we're still coming in contact with them. We still have housekeepers and business owners that are going to come in contact, but we want these people to feel safe and come out of the Airbnbs and come invest in the business. And we want the citizens to feel safe in that way. And I think that Tracy and the people that she worked with for special events really accomplished that in an amazing way. I have a friend that works at Wanderoo Lodge, and she said that their vacancy was almost non-existent for the end of summer and fall, and they're still booking. There's going to be the people here, and we need to be able to utilize that for our economy, for our citizens like me. I want to stay here. I want to live here. I want to thrive here. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm Jack Moyer. I manage the Basin Park and Crescent Hotels, and I live at La Valley Lodge. The first thing, I have 3 points I'd like to make, but the first thing I want to do is stand up for our industry. We heard a couple of things here that were a little concerning about the roles of people that wait the tables and people who clean the rooms. And let's not forget that the foundation of Eureka Springs is built on tourism, and I value those people and I value our industry. And you guys collect your revenue based on restaurant sales and lodging sales, and I think we should check that remark. I want to follow up, though. There's 3 points. First and foremost, I hope that you all will speak today regarding protocols, regarding the organization of the commission versus the organization of the staff. I know that there has been concerns that have occurred regarding micromanagement of the staff and who has the right to hire and fire, and I hope that you will address that. You are a commission. There should be protocols. There should be a manner in which the commission communicates to the staff, and you should empower the staff to do their jobs. We've gotten obviously sideways on that, and I hope that you'll correct that. The second thing I hope that you'll talk about tonight is the protocol and the precedent regarding approving a budget. We looked at our city council. Our city council crafted a budget last year. They had the first meeting of the year. They approved the budget. Now they'll have an opportunity to look at that budget in mid-year review in the future. But the budget that was crafted last year should be adopted. You should then move forward with a mid-year review if that's not the path that you want to go. And the final piece that I want to talk about is events. Specifically, we're foolish to think in Eureka Springs that there's no events going on. I produce events, people around the table produce events, and this community has produced events wholly. By sending a message that the city does not do events, you're really sending in the message that the city cannot do events, or cannot do events safely with the appropriate protocols. It's poor messaging, and it's the wrong direction. I'll back what Mike Seals mentioned. Events continue, they continue differently, and we should be looking for solutions in how we produce events, support tourism, and modify during this time of crisis that we're in. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Jack. Next speaker, please.
Hi, my name's David Avanzino. I am co-owner with my husband Ethan of Wanderoo Lodge and Gravel Bar here in Eureka Springs, 216 West Van Buren. We're fairly new to your process. This is our first meeting. After reviewing some documents online, your budgets, I have to be honest and say it's reprehensible that you are charging us all of this money, that we are paying these taxes, and quite frankly, you're doing nothing with that money except paying staff. We are doing our own event planning. We are doing our own advertising. I don't know if you know it, but Facebook is free. I never see anything from tourism pop on my Facebook page about Eureka Springs if it's not from one of us in this audience. Another thing that I find truly reprehensible is the fact that not every business owner in this city is having to pay this tax. The shops that don't produce food or produce lodging should be paying this tax as well. We're bringing them here for the benefit of every citizen in this city. The fact that you pay an out-of-state advertising agency to do advertising for us is just, I can't imagine it. We have so many talented people here to do those things, yet you're spending over almost half of your budget on advertising for a firm in Florida. That's pretty much all I have to say right now.
Great. Welcome to town. You have a great sandwich. Next person.
Hi, my name is Opal Agafia. I am a musician here. I'm based in Eureka Springs, but I have done events throughout the nation.
Opal, could you pull the mic down just a tad?
Yeah, sorry, I'm a little short.
Thank you.
I want to say thank you for responding to my emails. I feel like that you read them and heard me. And I came to this meeting last time, which was my first meeting last week, and I was just kind of lost. And just like in the introduction today, I was kind of lost. So I would really like more transparency, like others mentioned. You did note that you were going to create a committee to see how we can do events safer. I really appreciate that, and I want you to know that there are ways to host events safely. I've been a part of it. My brother is a paramedic, and his wife is a ER nurse. I would not do anything to make their jobs harder. I would only want to proceed with events if they're safe and to keep the safety of our community. But there are ways for us to do it, and I want the committee to be proactive and find ways. There are people doing it. I don't want it to be a cop-out to waste more time. I don't mean to be rude with that, but I just was very misled by the last meeting. And even one member here told us in the meeting that he didn't think special events added any value. Well, I do. It's me and my people that love to come here and play music for you. That's why I'm here. I moved here when I was 22, fell in love with the place, and grew my music career here. So I really hope that you know the value of special events. Tracy has done wonderful, and I appreciate you letting me speak.
Thank you. Looks like we have one person perhaps coming to the mic. How many more people would like to speak tonight? Thank you.
My name's Vivian Thornton, 216 Lazy Lane. I have Terry's Looking Glass downtown, which I'm not open all the time, just hit and miss.
Oh, excuse me.
But I've been here 20 years.
Could you raise that mic up again? I'm sorry, we're having trouble hearing you. Sorry.
I've been here 20 years. And I don't know what y'all are good for. I've just seen business go down, down, down. And like they said, you advertise out of state when you have all these people here in town that could do it. Free advertisement on Facebook. I know I bring thousands of people here every year since I've been here. I have businesses in Oklahoma. So I don't know what y'all are good for. I'm sorry to say that. If y'all can't keep these events going, they've gotten worse and worse. We used to have art parades. And I'm not talking about the COVID, I'm talking about before the COVID. Y'all need to do something. Bring our town back to life when this COVID is over. And it'll be over soon because the Democrats are in.
Thank you. Could I see a show of hands for anybody else who would like to speak tonight, as we do need to get on with our meeting? One more person? Anybody else? If you'll raise your hand, just let us know. Thank you. This will be our last speaker. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Stacy Burnett. We and my husband Patrick own Sherwood Court. I'd like to say that we love being here and we think that Eureka Springs is special every day. And I think that, yes, there should be some focus on special events, but I think that there should also be a focus on the fact that Eureka Springs is special every day. Our business has not been very dependent on special events. We have people come here who have no idea what special event is going on. They come here because Eureka Springs is special in itself, and I think that that's important to celebrate as well. So despite the fact that we have had difficulty creating and maintaining special events during this time, it's important to continue to let people know that Eureka Springs is still fun without a special event. And in particular, that there's plenty to do on the Upper Rim. Our business is on 62, and we think that a lot of the focus tends to be towards the downtown area. I think that we would like to see more advertising that involves the Upper Rim. That's all I got to say.
Great, thank you very much. All right, we will go back to our business. I'd just like to mention, last speaker, go ahead.
So I've listened to everybody, and I heard that there was another committee that could be formed for special events. I don't believe that we need to hide the discussion. The full commission should discuss these issues, actually. I don't know why we would have another committee that's made for that. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we will go back to our regular meeting. Prior to that, I'd just like to mention that all of you are welcome at any time when there is an opening on any commission to apply to do that. That's a really important thing for you to do in town, especially to have your voices heard. We appreciate your coming tonight very much, and now we'll go back to our regularly scheduled agenda. Approval of financials, Rick?
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Well, that should be the motion. The motion is to open discussion. The vote would be at the end to approve the minutes, to approve financials, not prior to discussion of financials.
Okay.
Just a point of order.
Okay, you're right. Discussion, is there any discussion on the financials?
Oh, the director.
Rick, do you have anything to say? Sorry.
The cash balance as of December 31st was $827,698.41. The tax collections compared to our adjusted budget for 2020, tax remitted in December, which are November collections. Restaurants, $72,420, down $3,479 or 4.6%. Lodging, $65,213, down $6,787 or 9.4%. The total collections for December, $137,633, was down $10,266 or 6.9%. Year-to-date collections, as the adjusted budget, $1,272,466 is up $161,648 or 14.6%. Historical data, 2020 lodging collections compared to 2019 collections were down $98,887 or 13.4%. 2020 restaurant collections compared to 2019 were down $140,369 or 18.1%. The total collections for 2020 were down $239,257 or 15.8% from 2019. And also, I kind of just want to give a little recap that's normally not part of that, but since it was the year-end report, as I said, our total collections of $1,272,466. The first quarter tax collections were up 19.2%. The second quarter collections were down 62.3%. The third quarter collections were down 12.7%. The fourth quarter collections were up 5.2%. Collections compared to the budget, the adjusted budget, were up $161,648, or 14.6%. Collections compared to 2019 were down $239,257, or 15.8%. We started out really strong. We ended up coming back strong, but those two middle quarters really did take a hit on us. And the collection report, if you've noticed that, it's probably the shortest it's ever been in the 10 years that I'm here. Considering that we're coming through a COVID crisis, that's a pretty good picture as far as I'm concerned. There's also a pretty little graph that I created here for you that you're welcome to look at as well.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
Well, I'd like to point out that it doesn't seem to jive with the sales tax figures that the city has. The city's sales tax figures steadily grew towards the end of the year and wound up pretty good. So I don't know what the discrepancy is. Possibly that people were coming to shop but weren't.
That's it. The discrepancy is that we don't collect revenue from retail. So the difference is the general revenue collects retail. We just do lodging and restaurants.
I certainly understand that, but lodging and restaurant also collect sales tax that goes into the city coffers. So it seems like it shows that people weren't spending as many nights here, or people weren't. They were coming and spending money, but they weren't spending it at lodgings and restaurants like they would, like they had been.
Can I say something? I think you should remember that some lodging chose to skip certain nights to clean their rooms more effectively. I think there was also, we as restaurant owners, we only could do at one time 33%, 66%. So those definitely hurt the numbers as a whole for restaurants and lodging. Both took a bigger hit than I think retail. This is kind of my guess, but I think that's might make up the difference.
That's probably true.
Any further discussion on the financials?
Can I just ask, Rick, our original budget in January was 1.5, right? I just want to point out that originally we started out with 1.5, but we ended up getting 1.2. I feel like that was only down 15%.
Yeah, we were down from our original budget. We were down $239,257, or 15.8%.
We adjusted that budget in March, April.
A couple of in March and again in October.
Right.
I think you have to give some credit to Paradise Marketing also, because they focused on outdoor activities, targeted marketing. It wasn't just a shotgun approach.
Agreed.
Great. Any further discussion, comment? All in favor of improving the financials, please say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Great. Director, staff reports. Rick, do you have anything?
I kind of just gave my year-end report there, so I'm good. I think Gina and
Okay.
Karen
Gina?
maybe have some.
I've included in your packets our monthly Expedia report and then the Paradise report. And then there's another sheet here that's just a year in review. I had to put this together for the mayor's office, so I just included it for you all, especially I figured maybe Melissa and Harry would get something out of it. I do also want to tell everyone here, these reports and everything we do are available on capc.biz. We try to get those updated on our website, so you're always, all this info is out there for you. And if you have any questions, we're always here for you too. I didn't prepare the usual director's report because for the last month I've been working with Paradise on our 2021 marketing plans, and they got removed from the agenda they were supposed to present tonight. So I don't have anything else other than that because that's what we've been doing, but Karen has something she'd like to report.
In order to keep my emotions in check and maintain respect, I'm reading from a prepared statement. On February the 4th, 2005, in this very building, I began my tenure with the CAPC. 16 years ago, I was hired by Lynn Berry and Pearl Brick as the auditorium manager. 16 years. That's longer than some of y'all have lived here. For 9 years prior to that, I worked for Jan Ridenauer and Kim Yonke at Positive Idea Marketing. And 2 years prior to that, I worked at Lake Lucerne Resort. During the past 16 years, I have worked in the auditorium. I have been the office manager. I have been in charge of coordinating special events. I have clerked for the financial director. 11 years ago, then Executive Director Jim Williams put group travel into the CAPC budget and offered me that position. That responsibility has been the highlight of my career. In the entire 27 years that my husband and I have lived here, I have been a representative of Eureka Springs. With every position that I have held, I have always thought that I had the best job in the world. I've seen great people come and go. I've seen people go that frankly should have gone. Unfortunately, I have seen some great people go in dramatic ways simply because they dared to try and make a difference. And this applies to employees, leaders, commissioners, business owners, and residents. I am deeply saddened, sometimes appalled by the current state of affairs. On a national level, the past year has been a nightmare. On a local level, I have seen the best and the worst of my neighbors. During the 3 weeks of shelter in place, the CAPC office was open every day. Some of us were able to work from home, and we did. We have then and are now taking extreme steps to keep our office and everyone safe. To refuse to follow our office guidelines is disrespect. When each of you volunteered to sit on this commission, I have no doubt you did so with the best intentions. The businesses in this community, especially lodging and dining, expect you to oversee their tax collections. They expect you to work as a group to allocate those funds for the express benefit of bringing guests to our town. That should be your main focus. The staff expects you to be supportive and helpful. The staff expects positive interaction and encouragement. And yes, let's be honest, sometimes we like a little praise. During the past 18 months or so, a disconnect has happened along the way. We have been lied to, we have been bullied, we have had our jobs threatened because of vicious gossip and innuendo. We have endured manipulation and false accusations. Some have even attempted unsuccessfully to pit us against each other. And yet we still come to work every day and try to do the jobs that we have been hired to do. A trusted friend and longtime business owner said to me just the other day, "Y'all are the two sides of the same coin. The commission works for our businesses and the staff works for our visitors. Why is that so hard to achieve?" I must admit, I've asked myself that same question. Every member of this staff, me, Gina, Rick, Tracy, all of us, have a vested interest in Eureka Springs. We love this town. We love promoting this town. We are a team, and each one of us is great at whatever part of the wheel we are responsible for. The most qualified people are already in place. But we are broken, we are beat down, and we want coming to work to be fun again. The animosity, the constant ridicule, the mistrust, and the division have to stop. We are better than that. We are supposed to be working together. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen.
I thought it was a report, not a lecture.
Moving right along.
All right, old business. Melissa, you had asked about
Okay.
a budget discussion.
Well, Mr. Moyer was correct. We do have procedural things we can do, and Karen, I've got code of conduct on here, so we will be addressing some things. The thing, if we're going to start doing things right, we have to go by the law. In Arkansas State Law, Title 26, Subchapter 75, Subchapter 6, states, the commissioners, will also prepare a budget at the beginning of each fiscal year and submit to the mayor and the city council at the first meeting after the budget was approved. The fiscal year starts January 1st, yet a budget was presented and approved in November against reasonable advice of one commissioner who advised it should wait till the seating of new commissioners. That's why that law is there. I don't think anybody did it maliciously. I don't think having it approved or presenting it was a bad thing. It just should have waited to be approved. I think it, unfortunately, in the case of Tracy, in the case of a lot of things, it just muddied the waters, and so that's one of the things we really need to work on. I'm not blaming anyone. I just think we need to clear it up. So I'm going to make a motion to review, change, or accept, and pass the 2021 budget as soon as we can.
I'll second that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any discussion? Harry?
We can operate on last year's budget until we get this resolved. I'd say we probably need to have another meeting soon to sort that whole budget out.
Well, he presented us with the 2021 budget, so you're saying to keep that one for now?
No, last year's budget. This 2021 budget is the one that was passed in November, and we're going to make a budget for 2021 in
Okay.
2021.
Okay, I understand.
Great. So you're saying you would like to see us operate on the 2020 budget until we have another meeting, decide what to do about 2021?
Yes.
Okay.
Do we need to amend the motion?
Yes.
Yes.
Would you like to amend it, or would you like to just go with your motion?
Do you want to
We have a
amend it,
motion and
Harry?
a second. Well, Melissa,
I would like to amend her
her
motion.
motion. So would you like to amend your motion?
Yes.
Okay. Can you frame that again, please?
Okay. I will make a motion to review, change, or accept and pass the 21-year budget with amending it that we will work off the 2020 budget until we approve it and send it on.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, what does the 2020 budget look like for January of last year? What would change?
The budget's in fine shape, but we're not allowed to spend money from one year to the next in a
Okay.
budget. That's why we actually do the budget before the first of the year, because you're spending money that hasn't been allocated.
The law states that we do the budget in January, at the beginning of the year, and the city doesn't pass its budget until late January. We have to do it before February 1st, but there's no restriction on the timing. It just says here at the beginning of the year. It doesn't say the year before.
I'm not a commissioner. Y'all can make whatever motions you want. I'm just saying, the state auditors will, even if I get an electric bill on the 15th of January that was for last year, it has to be backed into last year. I can't spend money from one year's budget in a separate year.
I tell you what, it's on our agenda. Why don't we pass the new budget, and then we can work on if there's anything we want to change on it and re-present it if we need to.
Well, we can do some changes right now, then.
We can vote on the 2021 budget right now, understanding that a budget is not set in stone. It can be revised at any time that we choose to revise it.
I will withdraw my motion.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion to approve the
I'd move to approve the 2021 budget.
Harry has to remove his second.
Oh, Harry, would you care to remove your second from Melissa's motion?
If we're going to just approve this budget, then we might as well look right down the list and make some changes right now.
As I stated before, the budget can be changed anytime we're willing to vote on it.
We're here.
So we could do that at our next meeting.
We're here.
Well, Harry, it's also
We
number
need to have the
3 on
budget approved by the end of February, which is like 4 days from, or the
And
beginning
we've
of
got it on
February.
we've got it under new business.
We've got it under new business. Would that be a good time to discuss it?
Under new business.
Yeah.
Number 3.
A little bit later on,
Yes.
tonight.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
All right.
Moving right along.
All right.
So we
Moving
would,
right along, well, then we'll just, there's no sense in making any motion about the
right, so
budget now. We'll just,
you'll withdraw your motion,
I'll
your
withdraw
second.
my motion.
Your second.
All right, great.
A second.
And Melissa, are you done with the budget discussion?
Oh, absolutely.
Great. We'll move on to Commissioner Jeff Carter's motion.
So I would like to make a motion, we talked about this in our special meeting, a motion that we not actually hire anybody for events at this time, but that we put together a committee. That committee would then put together and develop a plan for our events moving forward. This is a time for us to dig deeper and look harder and do more planning than we've probably ever done before. We must develop a plan for safety and security along with events to be able to promote these events properly in our community.
If we can't have decorum, I'm going to ask the chair to remove everybody from the auditorium, so please.
All right. So is that a motion that you made?
Yes.
All right. Bobby?
Jeff, I hear what you're saying, but I have to say that I think every one of us, when we agreed to sit on this commission, knew that there were going to be decisions that needed to be made. Some of them would be easy, some of them would be challenging, some of them would be popular, and some of them would be unpopular. And I, for one, do not see any reason to give up our decision-making ability, I'm speaking, to someone else. I feel like we are all capable of making these decisions. I think the only reason we would make a separate committee would be for maybe one of 3 reasons. 1, we don't feel like we can make the decision. 2, we don't want to make the decision. Or 3, we'd like to postpone making the decision. And I'm not for any one of those. And I would like to even further suggest that if anybody sitting here tonight does not feel like they can make that decision, they might want to reevaluate why they're sitting on this commission to start with.
I agree.
Furthermore, when I voted to put Gina in the interim director position, I did it with full belief that she would be the interim director, doing the things that an interim director would do. I've sat on this commission twice now, and I've sat under several directors, and I've also sat under several interim directors. And they all have taken on the duties of the director if they're an interim director, which includes hiring and firing the staff. So I would like to make a motion that we allow Gina to do her job and that we give her full capability to hire and fire the staff of the CAPC office.
Okay, we actually we actually have a motion on the floor.
Yes, there is.
So, hang on just a second.
I do understand that.
Got it.
Is there a second on that first motion?
Yeah, well, I would like for Jeff to restate, if he would.
So I just want to make a motion that we not hire until we put together a plan. And I believe that we need a committee, because a committee could act faster, it could dig deeper, it would be a small group of people, open to the public, of course, and press, but this committee then could work fast. They could meet multiple times in a week or multiple times in a month, where this commission is only going to meet once a month. So a committee could operate fast and could develop a plan. That committee could also have a member of the mayor's staff, which we need cooperation from the mayor's staff for events. This would be a cooperative for us to move forward. That committee would have no power to make any decisions. They would bring all that back to the commission, and the commission would take all of those recommendations, and then we would vote as a commission.
Okay, so I need you to make...
I'll second that for discussion.
Okay.
I still had my hand up.
Okay, that's all right.
It's open now for discussion.
We're opening up for discussion. We'll have time to do your motion as well. All right, so just to get the discussion happening. Yes, Harry?
As far as who's hiring and firing, it's very specific in the law, and the commission hires the personnel. And we set their pay wages. It's right there in black and white. If it's been done some other way in the past, I'd like to see where the commission has voted to change that. But as far as the law is concerned, the commission has full discretion on hiring and firing and creating positions and the whole business. That's why we're here.
Melissa?
I don't disagree with what Jeff is proposing. On the city council, we have at times, like for the entertainment district, had committees. And I think if it's a committee, I think it should be made up of the CAPC, a staff member, a member of the mayor's office, and then some public at large. I think there's a lot of things with events. I think there's a lot of changes that are being made because of what has happened with COVID, and I think we need to explore them. You know, nobody's getting rid of events. I think we're trying to figure out a way to get through this pandemic and then get them started and get back to where we're going. You know, there's been a horrible amount of misinformation on social media, and it was hurtful, and it was untrue. Not one person at this table is against events. Not one person is going to vote to cancel events. What we're trying to do is get through this pandemic and figure out the best way to spend our money. And so I do agree with Jeff. I'm maybe not sure how the committee will work and who's going to be on it, but I would like our citizens, I would like our staff, I'd like the mayor's office and some commissioners to participate.
I think that's what we would decide that, but I think that's what we want, is a full committee.
Harry?
As far as events are concerned, we are a body of the city of Eureka Springs, and we operate on the tax monies of Eureka Springs. And therefore, unlike the Chamber of Commerce and unlike the hotels and the businesses in town, we are restricted by state law. And right now, due to COVID, there are very specific restrictions on events and gatherings of more than 10 people. So this isn't about personalities. This is about a pandemic. And that's all we're talking about. We're not talking about ending events for the rest of the life of Eureka Springs. We're talking about until this pandemic is dying down, and it ain't dying down yet. And there's not enough vaccine. I've been on the list for a long time, and I'm over 70. And I haven't gotten my first shot, and the people who have gotten their first shot don't know when they're going to get their second shot. And there are, look, we have to obey the law. And the law states that we can't have any events, according to the mayor's policy. And the mayor's policy is based on the governor's policy. And the governor's policy is based on state law.
I will caution you again. Let's go back.
There's other issues,
Yeah.
and I'm not for certain because I've not been continuously on the CAPC, thank God. You know, once upon a time, we had an understanding that we would fund events for 3 years, and then at the end of that time, they would be self-sufficient. Then we also have a policy that we will pay the advertising for events, and that the people of the community that want an event will come before the commission, and we'll decide if the event is worthy of us doing the advertising dollars for it. The people here tonight have to understand, we have a staff of one person for events. One person cannot put on events. We need volunteers to really have an event. If you've been here over 20 years, you've seen some pretty awesome events. And it'd be great to be able to return to those days, but we just don't seem to have people volunteering. But we have conflicting priorities here on the A&P. Have we rejected that we're going to fund it for 3 years, or are we just going to do the advertising and respond to what events the people in the community want? So we do need some discussion as to how we go forward, not just through the COVID pandemic, and everybody wants transparency. I understand that full well. So we need to adopt some regulations that we as a body abide by when it does come to events. And that will be up to the commission to decide what those parameters are. But right now, we don't have anything in writing, unless I've missed something, as to what our procedure is with events. So there should be a committee formed going forward with events.
Okay, because we've had a lot of discussion, I'm going to ask Jeff just to restate his motion.
So I'll just make a motion that we not hire at this time. We put together a committee. We can decide how many people, that doesn't matter to me. We put together a committee to investigate events fully and develop a full plan for us moving forward with events.
And James, you seconded that. Yeah. Is there any further discussion? Bobby?
I just want to go on record in saying that I do not feel like a committee could make these decisions any faster than this commission could make them.
The committee won't make any decisions.
I agree. Well, I agree.
But you did say that you felt like the committee could make these decisions fast and easy. And I feel like it is our job to do it. That's one of the reasons I decided to serve again on this commission. I was asked to. This is a service. This is nothing, and I'm sure everybody knows that. We don't get paid for this. I'm serving my community in this position. And I'm quite capable of making these decisions. And I'm all for hearing other people's opinions, and I'm all for working with people. I think everybody knows that about me. I do not feel like in this instance that we need an outside committee to help us make this decision. I just don't.
Any further discussion?
I agree with Bobby.
Any further discussion? All right, the motion is on the floor. We have a second. I'm going to ask all in favor to raise your hands, please, and say aye.
Why don't you do a roll call?
All right, we can do that.
Do a roll call.
So an aye would be to approve Jeff's motion.
And then just...
And a nay would be not to approve it. Bobby?
Nay.
Harry?
Nay.
Melissa?
Yes.
James?
Yes.
Yes.
Jeff?
No.
So we have 3-3. I believe we should have the committee, so I'm going to come down as aye for his motion. Thank you.
We don't even know what the committee is going to be made of.
Well, we will discuss
new
that,
business.
and it will be...
Well, then you got to have another motion. You just can't say a committee and committee of what?
Okay, let's appoint 2 commissioners. That was the proposal, correct?
Yeah.
Bobby, would you
2 or 3.
We can get a staff member.
No, thank you.
We're just short of...
Why don't you make a motion to how you see the committee?
So I'd like for us to have 2 or 3 commissioners.
Okay.
So just stated as how many? 3?
Well, 3. Would 3 of you guys like to volunteer to be on?
I'd personally like to be on this committee.
Okay.
I will volunteer. I would also like Karen to be on it.
From the staff, Karen?
Yeah,
Okay.
if she would, please do it.
Or I'll put a gun to your head.
Okay.
That's fine.
But we'll have somebody from the
Yeah,
staff.
I'm not trying to pressure you, Karen, I just,
So
I would
perhaps-
like to start working
Perhaps the
and get a
motion
good
could
working
just,
condition.
rather than including just people's names, let's come up with how many commissioners, if there's to be a person from the mayor's office, if there is to say be a person from hotels and one from restaurants, we need to know
Sure.
the structure of the committee. If you could put that in a motion. that would
I'll make a motion that we have 3 commissioners. We have 1 at large, and we have 1 from the mayor's office, and we have 1 staff member.
I think we should always have an odd number,
How many does that
like
give us?
7.
That's 5, isn't it?
And I would like to also
3
see,
from the A&P, a staff, and the mayor's.
Mayor, that's 5.
and I would like to see members of the tax collectors.
So a person from hotels, a person from restaurants, and
That would be 6 if we.
Right.
do you want to include a person from retail?
No, not from retail. They're not a tax collector.
Okay, so we would have three people then from restaurants and lodging, basically.
From the public?
Yes,
Okay, so we're up to 7?
that gets us at 7.
That's plenty.
Okay, so the
Yeah.
motion again? Sorry.
I've counted 9. I've got
3 commissioners.
3 commissioners, 1 at large, 1 mayor, 1 staff, and 3 lodging and restaurant, which comes up to 9 on mine.
We only need 1 from lodging and restaurant.
We need to streamline this committee, and we need
a
to meet,
busker.
we need to meet like Monday.
Yeah,
We need to be expedient on
That's right.
this.
Right, and it is open
And
to
the more people
public.
we have on this, the more cumbersome is, 3 commissioners, somebody from staff, and somebody from the mayor's office.
The one thing you have to keep in mind, if there's 3 commissioners, you have to have the press at every one of your meetings.
That's great. Transparency.
I
And-
think that's.
And the
perfect.
public is welcome, and I
Yes.
would like input from them.
Public's always welcome, be it a workshop, a special meeting, a general meeting.
Okay, so let's go back, state it again, please, with
So we
the
have,
people.
make a motion that we have our committee be of 3 staff members, or 3 commissioners, 1 staff person, and then we're doing, I'm still unclear if we're doing 2 at large, which would be restaurant.
No, I'm not in favor of that.
Well-
So then we have to go find these people, which is going to take how long? And we need to be quick and
Can you
get
guys
this.
do this in a
Are-
workshop
are-
or something?
Once
I think-
again,
2 CA,
please be quiet. We're trying to discuss this, and
CC.
we want to keep decorum here, so.
Okay, yes, Greg.
Can we not discuss this in a workshop or something where?
No, because we
Work it all out?
need to get this done quickly, like ASAP.
Okay,
All right,
I guess.
one more once. Could you form your
Yeah, I
motion,
just wanna
please,
make
with
sure
the...
I've got it.
Yeah, so we have an odd number of people on the...
So that's 2.
Oh, we're all odd, so that, got that one.
So my motion would be 1 from the mayor's office, 3 commissioners. Let's do 1 staff member.
Second.
We'll ask Karen. If not, then we can see, and
Okay.
and we'll go.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
All I'd like to say is I want the public to come, and I do respect and want their input.
Okay, any other discussion, please? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
We have three nays.
Okay.
I vote to support the motion. All right, new business. We decided to move Fat Tire Festival, was that correct, to number 1?
That would be you, Tracy.
It's an event.
Yeah, but it's on there, and she...
It's an event.
Okay.
I obviously was not prepared for Fat Tire to be on the festival because I anticipated this happening. Carol, have you handed Fat Tire over to someone else without the office knowing about it? How is this on the agenda? Did you have someone here to speak from Parks without our office knowing?
Tracy, I asked for it to be put on, but Gina was kind enough and gave it, you know, wrote me an email and understand. That's why it was on here, just so that it was brought up.
Okay.
Okay, since we have nobody prepared tonight, let's move on to
I'm prepared, but it's definitely a moot point. But I do want to let everyone in this audience know that I'm quite an intelligent human being, and I'm very aware of the guidelines and the situation that we're in right now as a species. And if anyone up there actually thinks that I haven't thought of safety protocol and have backup measures and innovative ideas to do my events, I'm sorry to say you haven't been paying attention to anything that I've been doing. I have 3 events, one of which that was supposed to be having open registration and contract signed 2 weeks ago, but I haven't been able to do it because of things like this. So the amount of speed that an event can be put together with safety protocols is not an issue. Had you asked me, I would have been able to tell you that. Innovative new ideas of doing safe events while following the governor's guideline. Our state guidelines are what, our state guidelines. Fat Tire was going to be incredible this year. I partnered with Passion Play. They have plenty of room to socially distance. The plan's already been submitted. I expect it to be approved by the CDC and the governor because very similar events have already been approved on site. I'm not going to waste everybody's time by telling you that my main focus for Fat Tire is something that's never been done before. My mission this year was to make sure that every mountain biker that came to town that I encountered or that goes on those trails knows about downtown. It's a multi-million, billion-dollar industry, and unfortunately 75% of them don't come downtown. I'm sorry, but that's a missed opportunity. Events are more than just getting together ideas and doing this. They have to be thought out now and in the future. Fat Tire was set up to do so. The reason why it's at Passion Play right now is because we can't do things in our Basin Park. I need those riders to be by downtown so that I can get them to ride their bikes downtown, I can get them to come eat downtown, shop downtown, and sleep downtown all weekend while being safe. Safety is my main concern. I'm a citizen of this town. I love these people. To insinuate that I wouldn't have the safety of this town in mind is quite grotesque. I would also like to say that the transcripts of the meeting last week are available to anybody online. So to make the claim that falsehoods are being spread about the last meeting, I do want to let people know that the transcript is available. I encourage people to do your own research, always. I do love this town. I hope that whatever committee moves forward does not let us down, because I can tell you that I'm having a hard time letting go of the possible failure of future events. So with that being said, I do want to, this is primarily for the community that I love and live in. Everybody, thank you so much for coming out here.
Actually, on our
Thank you.
agenda...
I'm going to try my hardest to still help do some of these awesome things. As
Thank you.
Bobby tried to mention last week.
Our agenda included, it was about the Fat Tire event. Do you have anything else to say about that event?
No, and I won't share with you any of the other incredible economic development issues I'm in the middle of either that could literally change the face of our town.
We
You're welcome.
we do need to move on with the agenda.
May I make a comment about Fat Tire? Can we have an event outside the city?
Well,
So
I think that's something that needs discussion.
I think that's something we probably need to check out with the municipal league.
All right. Next issue is to vacate a commission seat. We have a commission seat that is filled by a person who is not currently employed at a hotel or at a restaurant. And we've been hopeful that he would be able to go back to his position or have another. But we are going to talk about vacating the seat, which means that the seat would just become open for someone else to apply. The person in the seat may stay in that seat until and when we, as the commission, would decide to put another person in that place. You have before you some legalese about this. Basically, this isn't about a person so much as it is about, we require that members of our commission, certain numbers of our commission have to be working as a general manager, a manager, and owner of a hotel or a restaurant or a bar. Would anybody like to make any kind of motion about vacating this seat?
Whose position are we talking about?
This is Greg Moon's position.
I make a motion, we declare vacancy.
Second.
Any discussion?
Do I get to say anything?
Absolutely.
When this came about, it came about because of COVID, and I came directly to the office to speak to Rick and to everyone that's in charge, Gina, and I brought a letter from my employer, which I am going back, and you have to show me proof that I'm not going back. There's a lot of people in this town take several months off for winter, and there's nothing to be said about that. But you got to show me something in your paperwork that says that a person cannot sit on this commission that's not still associated before you make that decision.
Well, you know, I got a copy of this letter. It just says, to whom it may concern,
Right.
Greg Moon has been placed on leave of absence from the Rowdy Beaver,
Yes.
October 9th, 2020.
Yeah,
I called the Rowdy Beaver. You were general manager, right?
Nope.
What were you?
General manager is Rod Minner, and now Sharon Minner. I was the manager, not...
Okay, well, the manager answered the phone, and her name is Sierra Fierro.
She's assistant manager.
When I asked her that you worked there, they said no.
That's not true. I talked to her. She did not give you any information because she cannot give information out on an employee.
Okay, so
therefore,
you're insisting that you're employed.
I'm not employed.
You're not employed.
I have a letter. I am on a leave of absence. Which permission-wise, was told by the office, that's okay. We're not going to worry about it. If we
Told
need-
by who?
From the office, Gina's office.
Let me read this Muni League statement. The law requires specific types of membership on an advertising promotion board. See Arkansas Code 20-75-605. I believe an individual serving a food or restaurant position who no longer serves in that capacity could be replaced by the commission, but that the commissioner will continue to serve until replaced by, whether resulting from the expiration of a regular term or otherwise, a vacancy on the commission in any of the 4 tourism industry positions provided for in another subdivision. Basically, the commission is able to vacate the position for any reason, but in this case, because we have waited, considering this was a furlough, just out of respect, that we have done this for quite a few months now, and there are other people that are interested in serving who own lodgings, hotels, restaurants, and/or manage them. So that's the purpose for doing this.
May I finish speaking?
Yes.
I'm happy to vacate this seat if you have somebody else to go into. That's fine. This is a volunteer position anyway. I'm not getting paid to do this. I was happy to come and help out and do this for my community. But from day one, I had been on this thing, I have been harassed by you. And I want everybody to know that. And if I leave tonight, the paper's going to know it. Because you have done nothing but call my work from day one and done nothing but ask if I was employed. I even brought you my card. This has been an act on you to get me off of here because you don't like the way I vote. That's what it is,
Oh, come
girl.
on.
No, that's the honest to God's truth.
Take the
Thank you.
laundry home.
She is a harassing person, and she knows it. And I have proof of it.
Okay, folks, do we...
Okay, any more discussion?
So anyway,
Yeah,
if you
is
got
there-
somebody, fine. Bring them on. Put them on here.
So are you resigning then?
I'm not going to resign, no.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Melissa.
I just have one. Greg, I talked to you a couple of weeks ago, and I said...
There's a motion on the floor, is it?
That's okay, we're still...
I'm going to discuss.
Well, it's got to be a second in order to
I
discuss.
seconded it.
He seconded it.
Okay. Thanks. So,
And I know there's been speculation, I know there's people that have called. I've got a letter here from Butch that he's called her and she said, "You're not working." I know she's told people you are. I would like you to have her come and have her tell us your position. And then we can end this, we can end the speculation in town. You've been my friend for 20 years, and you have been a good commissioner. I don't care how you vote. I don't care if you agree with me. That's why there's 7 of us here, because of that reason. So I think all Carol's doing is trying to follow what's legally right, what Harry has found out, what the mayor wrote. So could you please ask Sharon to come to the next meeting?
Well, right now it stands on going back March 1st. March 1st.
We'll have her come and do that. That way it totally clears up everything, because she's not answering phone calls from what I understand, and so...
Let me explain this to you. And she can tell you this. You cannot give out information on employees. I don't care who you are.
But she can come and tell us.
Well, yes, but I'm saying when you can't
Yeah.
call and ask questions about somebody that no one's gave you permission to ask questions for. I never signed an employment thing with you to call my place
Right,
of work.
well, I have
and
not
ask.
called Greg, and I would.
Okay.
Would.
I'm just saying, that's not right to do. That's
Okay.
harassment.
I think they do have the right to do it.
So we,
Maybe not all the time, but they do have the right.
is there any further discussion?
10
We have a
times, but Carol.
motion and a second to vacate this position. Any further discussion? I'm going to, we'll just do a roll call. The motion would be to vacate the position, which basically means the position is open for others who are in the hotel, restaurant business, who are owners or general managers, to apply. Mr. Moon may stay in his seat until and if the commission decides to put another commissioner in place. Bobby?
No.
Harry?
yes.
Melissa?
I'm going to abstain because it's just too, I'm sorry.
That's all right. James?
Yes.
Yes.
Do I get to vote? Yes, no.
Yes,
No.
no? Okay, one more time. Bobby is a no. Harry is a yes.
Yes.
Melissa's
3-2.
abstaining. James again?
I say it's 3-2.
3-2.
Yes.
Okay. So the position of commissioner that Greg is currently sitting in is vacated. He is able to stay in that seat and vote until and if the commission finds another commissioner.
The motion,
Motion's done.
to keep it. Is the
That's
seat vacated or
by
is it
law.
not?
No, the seat is vacated, but he can stay in the seat.
Okay, fair enough.
You were the fourth vote.
And for the public's knowledge, you have to be a manager of a hotel, motel, or restaurant, but you do not have to live in Eureka Springs. You have to be a citizen of Carroll County.
Right. Okay, so we're going to move on to the CAPC Events and Odd Committee Staffing. Have we covered that, Jeff?
That was already covered. I don't
Okay,
know why it's in
we
there.
got that, all right.
Unless there's more discussion, if there's new discussion about the committee or when we want to meet or any of that, I don't see that. Do we, and this is just something I don't know, do we need a chairperson for that committee?
That would be a good
Well,
idea.
once we get together, we can,
We can decide that.
You can decide it, okay.
So there's no reason for us to, we'll just meet.
Skip that.
We'll make sure that
Okay.
Rick will, you'll help us
a
communicate.
question
with
for
the
Jeff. Will you contact the mayor's office?
public. Sure, I'll make that call.
Thank
All
you.
right, and circling back to the budget, Harry, I think you and Melissa might have had some
Okay.
more discussion you wanted to do on the budget?
I move that we make a discussion of the 2021 budget.
Second.
Okay.
Second.
Any discussion on the 2021 budget? So Harry, were there things you wanted to discuss now?
Well, we might as well scratch the drumming.
Oh, okay.
I don't have a
Auditorium.
copy of the budget, I'm just,
It should be with your packet.
Oh.
On the very back of your packet,
Oh.
I think I included it all. If not,
Auditorium shows.
Well, we probably should think about, right now, the moratorium, basically 10 or fewer people, is really through June. I think given what CDC and others say, this could extend longer. I'm going to have to ask, please, that we shut the doors. Thank you. This could extend longer. I mean, we're all hopeful that we can open wider sooner. But I think we maybe shouldn't do something that sweeping, especially with events, which are certainly something that could be on a larger scale as we get closer to the end of the year, hopefully fall and winter, but maybe even late summer. So I'd just like to...
Well, we could, if it's till June, we could cut that whole line item in half then.
Any discussion about that from...
Well, then what, then
Yeah.
how do you want to appropriate those dollars? I mean, I just as soon pass the budget as is, and we can work on it for the rest of the year. Unless you have specific ways to reapportion those funds, I'm willing to hear them, but,
I agree with Jim.
Here-
Let's hear from Rick.
Harry, I just wanted to let you know, because you guys are new to this, unfortunately, that Jeff had made a motion at our last meeting that any events have to come before this, with their budget before they can happen anyway. So regardless if these are listed out on here, there's no money there until y'all approve the
Okay.
budget for that event.
All right, good enough.
At this table.
What about travel? Why is there $47,000 in travel?
That's group travel. That's for
Okay.
like American Bus Association, trade shows and stuff like that.
Right.
And that's been cut from 70,000 down to 40.
Now, wait, I'm new, so what
Yeah.
group?
It's not any specific group. It's Karen's job, is she's a certified travel instructor or whatever, whatever her letters are she went to school for. But she goes to like Travel South, ABA, different trade shows and stuff like that. That's all within group travel. Which, because of the COVID, it's been cut from 70,000 to 40,000 this year. And that budget isn't used if it's not, I mean, this, like, in 2020, there was over $20,000 left that wasn't used. It's not automatically spent because it's in there. And again, we can revisit it at any time through the year.
Harry,
If something-
basically what we did last year, because COVID ensued in March, was we visited the budget every month at every meeting, and we would talk through what our numbers were like, what the projections were going to be like, and we acted upon individual line items or a large group item at the same time, but we tried not to do it in advance of opportunity, which is why not knowing exactly when the vaccine will help us get herd immunity is really important. So that worked for us really well last year. We were a little more panicked about it at the beginning of the year, but as we went month by month and revenues increased as time went on, we felt a little more comfortable with it. I think we ended up cutting it at, 28%?
Yeah.
At the beginning, and we didn't have to go
Okay.
much above that.
So, how much are we paying? I can't see where Paradise is in the budget.
The total spend for Paradise is $711,000. Theirs is broke out into the agency fee, which is basically their fee for the team of 6 people that do our marketing for us. There's $11,000 there for video production because they want to come this year and shoot some new video for our commercials. And then there's the agency media up here at $400,000, which is where they place television, billboard, radio, print, online, Expedia, all the different places that they advertise Eureka Springs?
Just, Harry, since you are new here, also understand that one of their other clients is the city of Little Rock, so it's not like they're not familiar with Arkansas. They're quite familiar with Arkansas.
One of the things about a budget is a line item is what you may spend, not what you can spend. And so we have the right at any time to take stuff out.
Right, you can't spend any more than that, I understand.
Well, you can, but, just because it says museum contract, $7,200, doesn't mean that you can go out and spend that. It means that you can spend it, but, so...
It's allocated.
It's allocated, and so...
I fully understand how budgets work.
Yeah,
You just
I think...
cannot spend more than $7,200. You can't.
You're right. I think we could probably go ahead and pass it tonight.
Well, I'm sorry, there's just a lot of details here I'd like to know about. And one of them would be that, was it decided last year, when was it decided last year that the independent wasn't included anymore in advertising, when the fund guide was dropped?
As I recall, it was a decision made maybe in the latter part of the year, and it had to do with the funding for that budget. I believe we had used, actually, Gina, you probably could answer that better. Oh, hang on one second. I don't know if the mic's on right now. The guys up there?
Yeah, that was one of the lines that was cut out of our budget, was the print advertising, and it was, the purpose for it was to advertise events too, so there was
So
just...
was that, I'm just refresh my memory, was that something the commission cut out of your budget?
Yes.
Okay.
That would be something I would like to work on and work with Mary Pat, because one of our things is our restaurants, and they're at 66, and a lot of them are doing takeout. I think if we could get the fund guide on, and I know the lovely Citizen, I think we should promote them, and they can help promote like our restaurants and our lodgings and stuff.
Don't just mention the Citizen, I mean, you're saying both papers?
Both papers, yeah.
Well, the fund guide, comes out 4 times a year, and it's distributed. They even increase their distribution to meet up with this, and I don't think the commission even asked them to. They came to the commission and delivered some things, and were told that, no, we don't want your stuff anymore.
The Citizen has what's the Citizen's?
Visitor.
The visitor guide, which, those...
The fund guide's pretty good. I think we need to find money in the budget to refund that.
I think we should for both. They're both good magazines.
As I've stated, we can amend the budget at any time.
I agree.
So, is there any further discussion on this budget point, or can we move on?
So restate the motion.
I don't think we have one.
I don't think there isn't really one.
Well,
There's a discussion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the 2021 budget as presented, and I'm sorry, Rick, you probably have to present it back to the council again.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we'll move on. Melissa, Code of Conduct.
The city council adopted last year, and unfortunately, I'm sorry, I don't have it with me, but we adopted a code of conduct. And what it basically is how we act at the table, but how we act outside of the table. And one of the things, I guess the reason I brought it up is there's been such an acrimonious split and everything, and I don't want that to happen anymore. I want us to put aside our differences and start working together. Everyone, our staff is valuable, our commissions are valuable. Let's start working together and start working with the public and try, to bridge these gaps and work with each other. These are different times, and our emotions are strained. All of us are pretty strained. And so I would like just this vitriol anger that we seem to display at each other to stop and start treating each other with respect.
Is there any motion from you, or did you just...
Well, I'd like to make a motion that we approve a code of conduct for the commissioners, and...
Are you saying to adopt the city council's code of
Yes.
conduct?
Yes, to adopt.
Second.
Okay.
Is it in writing, Melissa?
It is, and I'll get them to get us. There's not really much to it, but it's enough that I feel like, you can be written up. It's not going to do anything. I mean, as a commissioner, you're not included. You have your own handbook, but I, as a commissioner, and I've seen, and it's coming from everywhere, I just want us to start working together and try, to be a working place and to go forward.
I completely agree with you, but I'd like to actually see it before we vote on it.
Okay.
Let's bring it up next meeting.
We'll bring it up next meeting.
Yeah, so could you bring it and let us look
Yes.
at it, and we'll vote on it
I'll
at that
remove
time?
my second.
All right.
And you
I'll remove my motion.
Great. And shall we move on now? Bank signatures, Rick?
Yeah, since we changed city council people, we have 2 of our bank signatures off. Currently, Gina Rambo and myself were on there, so we're lacking 2 signatures. It doesn't happen very often that we need anybody else to sign because we're usually in the office, but it's best if people are close by for us in case that we need a check. So I would suggest Jeff and Bobby just because they're downtown, but it's up to the commission, it's not up to me.
I'll second that motion.
The auditors require the motion to list all 4 signees, and the bank requires the minutes. So
Okay,
when you make the motion, could you please name?
I move.
Wait, are you both okay with that, Bobby?
Well, I am out of town quite a bit. Any more?
I will volunteer. I don't have much of a life. So.
Thank you.
I'm around all the time.
All right, so can I hear a motion about Jeff and Melissa being our signatories?
I'd move to have Jeff Carter and Melissa Green as signatories on the CAPC's bank
And
statements.
a second?
I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great, thank you. Set commission meeting dates for 2021. Generally, what we've done is had our regular meeting the 4th Wednesday because that allows Rick time enough to get information from our collectors. He gets better information near the end of the month, and we've had our workshops on the 2nd Wednesday. The workshops, by the way, are at 4 o'clock, and the CAPC commission meetings happen at 6.
I would like to discuss, and maybe I'm going to get shot down on this one, but so much is changing. We've got a new committee. I mean, we really have a lot of stuff to do. I would like our first meeting to be a workshop, and if we need a meeting that we can call or quickly adjourn it, so that if we do have things we need to vote on, I think it's important, instead of going, a whole month between voting on stuff. I feel like there's so much going on and so many different changes. I really think we need 2 meetings a month.
How about we set our regular 1 meeting a month, and then if it's necessary that we have to have a special meeting, a workshop, that we then call a workshop.
I think, am I correct in what you're saying, Melissa, is we need to meet more and be able to vote more often than once a month?
No, what I'm saying is keep the workshop, but put a meeting after it, and if we don't need the meeting, we start it and quickly adjourn it and go home.
I agree with that. I think our workshops are at 4. If we have regular scheduling meetings right after, we can...
At 6.
At 6, we could cancel, or we could move them to 5, so we could kind of move through those quickly, or we could adjust it to 5 and 6. But if we did that, then we could speed up our process, which we desperately need right now. I know that makes it more difficult because if you're traveling out of town or whatever, it's more difficult. But I think that we could speed up our process if we did 2 regular, because if we do special meetings, we get 1 motion and we get 1 thing, and we're kind of handcuffed to what we can actually do.
Right.
No, I meant a
What if we
workshop
start
and a
our
regular meeting.
workshops at
Right.
5, because I'm sure Bobby's busy.
Workshop at 5, meeting at 6. and we do that on the second Wednesday, and then we do another meeting. Is it?
So we're going, whose motion? You want to make a motion, Melissa?
I'll make a motion that we set commission meeting dates twice a month, the second Wednesday and the fourth Wednesday. A workshop will be before the first meeting, with a meeting if needed afterwards.
Great. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Great. All right, and our last category is select a chairperson, but I believe, Harry, did you want to say something about officers here?
No, not at this time.
Okay, I nominate Bobby Foster for chairperson.
Second.
I do not want it, thank you.
I nominate Jeff Carter for chair.
Okay. Anybody else?
I'll second that.
Okay.
Okay.
I'd like to nominate Melissa Green.
We have one nomination on the floor, and
Okay.
it's not proper that, I was afraid that would come down to it. We need a little bit of room between city council and the
yeah.
CAPC, and we've never had a council member as chair.
I agree.
This is a special commission set up by the state for business, so it's appropriate that it be one of the other members and not one
No.
from the city council.
I can't.
Well, I
It
second
would-
for Jeff, that's fine.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think
thank you.
Jeff would be wonderful.
All right, any further discussion?
Nope.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Congratulations, Jeff.
I'm not a commissioner, but can I kind of interject?
Sure.
We're actually supposed to elect a secretary treasurer as well, the first meeting of the month. This hasn't happened for the past several years
Secretary
because nobody
treasurer?
wanted to do it. I was actually the last secretary treasurer when I was on in 2010.
Treasurer.
But by law, we're supposed to have a secretary treasurer. They typically don't do anything.
Is that one position or two?
It can be one. In the past, it was. It's
And the
listed-
secretary's function is to take the minutes?
Right.
Okay.
And nobody wanted to
I'll
take-
nominate Carol for that position.
Do you want it, Carol?
I would do it.
Okay, then I'll second that motion.
All right.
Anyone else? Any other nominations? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All righty. Commissioner comments, Bobby?
No.
Harry?
I'm still getting my feet on the ground here. According to these statutes, we're supposed to have a CPA to submit an annual audit of the operations of the commission to the mayor and city council.
We use the state auditors. It's an option. We use the same state auditors that the city uses, which is free to the city.
Okay.
And again, I'm not a commissioner.
No,
I feel
Dude.
like I'm talking out of place.
Do you have a copy of that audit?
I feel like I'm talking out of place. But you're exactly right that all the power lies within this commission to hire and fire employees.
Now, if we got a freebie audit, that's cool.
However, they're also able to hire staff to do the jobs of the commission, and simply just take one out of, not even in the staff realm, but it states in the state law that this commission will submit a quarterly report to city council. That job has always been put off on the finance director because he's the one that does the finances. And the job descriptions that have been discussed before, where the director hired and fired, those job descriptions were put in place by the commission and voted on the commission. So if you want to change it so that the commission hires and fires the staff as well, it's up to you. The power is in this body, but as it stands through the minutes of this commission, those job descriptions were approved. So if you want to change that, you might put that on your next agenda to make that change. Just, and going back, believe me, from doing research for a lot of these people that were out here today and all, and unfortunately, what you're looking at doing the workshop before the meeting is a good thing, because I've went through all the minutes since 1972, and there's so many motions or directions made at this table at a meeting or a workshop, and then nothing ever happens. It just drops off the table, and there was a motion on the vacancy thing, commissioner vacancy. We were putting in a plan for removing commissioners for missing too many meetings, and the mayor got a opinion from Municipal League that said this commission couldn't do that, but city council could. So this commission made a motion to ask city council to make an ordinance to be able to remove a commissioner, and it passed, but nothing ever happened at city council. So when it comes to attorney general opinions and lawyer opinions, we all got them. They all got them. So that's why we have a court and an appellate court and this and that. So, having the workshop before a meeting and then discussing in the meeting what you did in the workshop works so much better as far as keeping. And I'm going to try, if I'm still there, I'm going to try to keep a book of action taken by the commission, directive action. We have a policy manual. We've talked a lot about bylaws over the past few years. Most cities operate under code, not bylaws, but we do have a policy manual. It actually specifies the exact reports that I give you in this meeting.
Yeah.
And we can easily add to that policy manual whatever y'all want. Short of coming up with bylaws, they're actually just policies and procedures. Bylaws are basically the same thing. But anyway, just food for thought. Again, I'm not a commissioner. I feel like I'm talking out of class.
Thank you, Rick.
But
Appreciate that. Harry, were you finished with your comments?
yes.
Could I say one thing?
Yes, ma'am.
Rick, thank you for clarifying that, because I knew there was some place that I read where the director was in charge of hiring and firing, and I couldn't find it in Harry's book.
It's in the job description.
So if you could give a copy of that to Harry, I don't care if we change it for future,
Right.
but I do know that it is in writing somewhere. I couldn't find it in his book that you gave to him. I was looking for it, but I know that it is in writing somewhere, and I didn't have it with me. So thank you for clarifying.
I will get that out to everybody.
Okay, thanks. And Melissa, comment?
I'm just, glad to be here. We had to make some hard decisions. We're going to still make some hard decisions. But I think we've got a good staff, Rick, you included. We've got good commissioners, and I think we can go forward. And I look forward to serving, and I hope I do a good job.
Thank you. Glad you're here. James?
No comment?
No comment? Jeff?
I just want to point out, I'm sitting here looking at this, that we did get a grant. Rick was able to get us a grant to help cover losses, right? $73,707.45. I just want to recognize that.
Congratulations, Rick. Thank you.
That was supposed to be part of my report as a employee, but I think I missed it somewhere.
So I just wanted
I
to
think
recognize that.
I did have this broke out. If you might, it's real quick, I'll read it. We did get a CARES grant. The auditorium received $32,994 to reimburse us for our Eureka Sound contract. The auditorium got $4,623 for new software, new microphones, stuff to be able to live stream what we do, live stream decks, stuff that had to be purchased. We received $34,525.29 for CAPC salaries, which was basically the front desk that we moved Karen from group travel to front desk and to guard the front door from people coming in without masks. We received $550.73 for CAPC expenses, which was some programs that we had to get in order to do meetings by Zoom when we were over in the courthouse, and an antenna to get the Wi-Fi over to the courthouse. And we also got $1,013.83 for the Evergreen campaign that Paradise created for us to just make people feel good about coming back when it's safe. And again, the total was $73,707.45.
Do we have to, that's a grant, we don't have to pay that back?
That,
No loan.
that was a
Okay.
grant. And
Good.
it was a 2-day, 2 days of my vacation on the beach that I worked on this. So,
And,
you ought to thank me big time. Yeah.
And Greg, your comment?
None.
Move to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Thank you, commissioners.
Thank you, James. Good to meet you.